what we did was, because this is a handheld application, where we cut off the extra length on the piezometer. The piezometers are typically used when you're doing a large diameter grout fill, and so the level in the piezometer stays at a certain level, and then when you reach refusal, it spouts off the top. Since we're going to be going into a transition, you're going to get a little bit of a pressure increase in the piezometer, which will push it out the top. So what we've done in these cases is we just cut it off here so you can hold your thumb on it, and you'll get used to feeling that little increase in pressure from going into the transition. But then once you fill the wall, you'll feel a pump, a little spike in your thumb, and that's where you cut off the valve to stop the flow, so you don't have an over pressurization. All right, so what we've done is we've cut some 5/8 inch OD flex tube. We're going to use these for ports, injection ports, into our 5/8 inch diameter drilled holes. Now, if you just shove the tube in, it's going to be loose. Now, you have a choice. You could either mortar or grout them in. You've got to wait for it to dry, but it's really the most secure way of doing it. But the other thing you can do is take a 6-inch long piece of tape. Right now we're just using blue tape, and tape it on at an angle, and then wrap it around. So you're going to form kind of a helix with the tape. But what's going to happen is, as you do that, we get ever thicker. So what you've done is now you've made a flexible transition. So then you just shove it in the hole so it doesn't go any further, and it's wedged into place, and that'll create a pretty good seal. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the feed line, and it's going to the grout's going to go from the pressure pot through a 5-inch ID feed tube. This is just a short link, through a cutoff valve, and then through a little link, another link, to the piezometer, and then to your transition fitting that then you're going to hook up to the your injection port tubes. So simple as basically connecting the tube like this, putting on a hose clamp here, tighten it up, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your feed line, which is another 5/8 inch tube, put that on with a hose clamp, and then this then goes into the piezometer like that, and you have your transition fitting there. This goes in. Now, it should hold in fairly well. It's a fairly tight fit, but if you'd like, you can actually tape it up. Now what's going to happen is when you start to do your initial grout injection, you're going to get a hard plug that comes out of the feed line from the pressure pot, and that's going to get clogged up. The reason the plug forms is because the feed line is dry. What you want to do also is pre-wet the feed line, the whole string of stuff, but it's still going to tend to dry the grout because the water doesn't really stick to this tube, which helps have a low friction. For the same time, as your grout goes through, the water is then going to be pulled out, going across the dry surface for your first time, and then when it hits this, it's going to act like a hard plug. So what you're going to do is you're going to start your grout flow, have the plug come out, cut it at the pot, then shove this on and tighten your feed line, and then you should be good to go. So let's see how we do. All right, so here's our completed hookup here. We've got our cutoff valve. I have it on this side because I'm right-handed. So put it on like that, cut it off like that. If you're left-handed, you can just do the other quadrant. This is press fit the piezometer in. It's a very tight fit, so it's not going to push out. You're not going to get that much resistance that it's going to pop out. And you don't want to tape that in, because if you do get a clog or something in here and have to clean that out, you want to be able to remove that. But this connection right here, the flex tube going into the piezometer T, the flex tube is compressible, so you can't put obviously a pipe clamp. So what I've done is I've taped it up with some really heavy duty duct tape, and you really can't pull it out very easily. So I guess we're ready to go. All right, so what we've done is we've filled the pressure pot with water. We're just going to flush out the feed lines. just pre-dampened the feed lines, so now we're going to give this a quick fluff. That's the consistency you want. And we're ready to go. All right, we just added the grout and we're ready to go. What you want to do is just like lug nuts on a car. You don't want to tighten any one all the way down before the others. You want to do it kind of evenly so they seat themselves in the seal in a uniform manner. And you want to have most of the threads all with the same length going out. Great.
Be good.
Here we go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do initial feed through the tube.
You're gonna need to pressurize it first.
Hose. I know. Because as you see, the grout runs out and it dries out. So what's gonna happen is when the grout comes through it again, it's gonna suck the water out of the grout. You're gonna get kind of a plug, which will gum up your other system. So we're gonna put this on here. Yep. We had just bled it, so I had forgotten to put on the...
You're gonna bring it right up to about 30 psi?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright, should be good to
We're
go.
good. Alright, so we're gonna do an initial feed through here. Here comes our grout.
There we go.
So I don't know if you've noticed, but in the very beginning, it was kind of, there's a little bit of a hard plug. What I would suggest is using your high-tech finger, kind of clean the stuff out of the end of the hose, then you can most easily put the,
Get your hose clamp on there.
oh yeah, hose clamp. To see who's the brains of this operation. And here we go. Oops. And the hose clamp on. So now what's going to happen is the grout's not going to run out anymore. So it's not going to dry. So you've got your feed line all filled. So let's give it a quick test tug. It's not going anywhere. We're going to give a initial squirt. So I'm putting my finger on the, or my thumb on the piezometer, because you've got a reducer here. The grout's going to tend to go up. So we're going to do an initial. Is there pressure down or?
No, you need to open the other valve first.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Sorry. Got this.
There we go.
I'm doing all these mistakes on purpose, just so you see.
And there's the
There's our
grout.
grout coming through.
Beautiful.
So if you look at this, got my hand on the piezometer, I was holding it down. So let's start filling. We're gonna take this guy, put this in here. Put that in there. Hold on to the piezometer. Take out the tank, give it a gentle pressure. And here we go.
And we're flowing.
We're filling. It's going right in. Now see my fingers on the piezometer, what's going to happen is I feel a certain pressure, which is the pressure of the grout as it's going through this constrictor. This is a fairly large cavity, so we're not going to get refusal. But as we want to cut it off the length so you can have your hand on it. The grout keeps going. So then when you get to refusal means when it doesn't take any more grout. See, I'm feeling a pressure increase right now. I'm going to cut it off. All right, so let it run. See, if you look, feed line, it's kind of running in by gravity a little bit. And from relieving pressure.
And the grout,
you give it
you can
one
see it
more
going
blast.
down on the piezometer.
Yep, so give it another blast. And here we go. Flowing again. We're good. All right. So let's take this off. Do another quick. What was happening is when I recharged it, there wasn't any flow because we'd reached refusal. We put this on again here. Grout coming out. And we go. Away we go. Oops. Easy peasy, as they say. What you can do is I'm getting a lot of pressure on my thumb, so we can cut off the pressure a little bit. To cut the flow. And we actually put in, we had a lot of flow, so we actually
cut it off completely.
We just kicked our pot. So this would, like I said, this is a fairly big volume. So we just had that's really what you want. Our pot was about half full, but we actually injected a heck of a lot in a short amount of time. Although it does stay on the bottom, and what you want to do is give it an occasional crank.
And you can tilt it so that your feed tube
Oh yeah, what do we
here
do
is
that?
at the bottom. If you tilt it upwards,
Oh, let's do that. Okay, let's
drop
give
it
a
up
crank.
on something.
Yep. What you will notice is that, especially in the hot weather, it's about 80 degrees right now.
Yeah, but
It does tend to stiffen a little bit. That's why we do want to keep cranking. And so let's do the.
here, I would put this under
it.
the wheel. Put that under.
Oh, good idea. Okay. So let's see if we can get some more grout out of there.
Maybe put something else under.
Let's see how it goes. All right. Here we go.
There we go. Got more flow.
Yep. More flow going in.
That way you can get as much out of the pot.
So again, see, everything holds together. If you think about it, you've got 30 psi pressure pushing on all this. The maximum area, cross-sectional area of the feed line is basically the same as the number 5 bar, 0.31 square inches. So if you take 30 psi times 0.31, that's about 10 pounds of tension. So you want to have this be
Now we're
able to,
getting air again.
resist about 10 pounds. So we just kicked our pot. It actually went really well. So there we go.